Hey guys. So my Channel 5 News, Bill Fine, I guess, is the general manager or something. He always has these editorials. This is an interesting one I thought I would share with you. He's talking about human trafficking. Says here in the Commonwealth, in Massachusetts or whatever, it's gone up 46% since 2012. That's a lot of percent to go up, This is horrible. Anyway, at least when it's something like this, it's short for me to put it on closed caption and read it. It's not fun, but and before I do that, I just wanted to say, World News Tonight that I didn't yet watch. Is going to delve deeper into that Waffle House thing where I was talking about in the other video with the guy that I don't see why the cop had to choke the guy. And what else? Oh, and 2020 had a repeat, but I never saw the original, so I taped it. A repeat of that murder by text thing, where that young woman was found guilty of of manslaughter or whatever. And I don't agree with that. They're appealing it. I don't agree with the sentencing. I think it's rotten what she did, but I don't think that's criminal. You know what I mean? I think it's going into uncharted territory, and maybe potentially, the connotations of deciding that if you just encourage someone to kill themselves and they kill themselves, you're responsible. I don't think we should go there. And what I found out that I didn't know, with all the headlines and the sensationalism or whatnot, did I ever know what I now know just watching a tiny little part of that? I didn't watch it. I taped it, but I watched the beginning, just not that long. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something. She actually was repeatedly for years. He was desperate. He just was gung-ho. He's going to kill himself. She had problems herself, by the way, okay? And what someone was saying, she was put in the position where he repeatedly said, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. And they show texts where she repeatedly says, please don't do it. You don't need to die. Get help. This, that, you know what I mean? So in the end, she finally, I didn't watch the whole thing, but what we're going to find is she's finally sick of it. And at the very end, she's tired of years, it went on for like 2 years almost, of him saying he was going to die and her trying to talk him out of it. So finally, she did say, why don't you just kill yourself? She was tired of him constantly threatening it. Again, we're not saying, we who say it shouldn't be criminal are not saying that what she did wasn't wrong, okay? Because but they were never together in person, apparently. It was all via text, their whole relationship. She had her own problems. And I'm not saying there's lots of things that are wrong, and you think, oh, that's scummy, that's this, that, but it's not, it shouldn't be viewed as criminal. And I gave myself as an example when I was talking about this before. If you're not strong enough to not listen to people who tell you to kill yourself, I don't think that words, I just don't think that should be viewed as criminal. That words, that they title it, of course, can words kill? And I'm surprised that she was found guilty, and they're appealing, and I don't know if she'll be found guilty again, but there's never been anything like this ever, and it took place here in Massachusetts in Buzzards Bay. That's down the Cape, right? And there's things I just learned, I'm sure I'll learn even more, because I'm hardly alone. There's people on both sides of the fence. People who say, no, it's her fault, he died, but how can you hold somebody responsible who simply told you in a text to kill yourself? And there's so many trolls online who tell people to kill themselves and this, that, or whatever. I've been on the receiving end of that, numerous times over the years. I don't see how you could just hold someone responsible. I just don't. You know what I mean? I just don't view it as criminal. I view it as rotten, but I don't view it as criminal. And what I found out was just now, I didn't know this before, they don't tell you that, or they do, but they don't stress it when they're sensationalizing this case and whatnot. For years, she begged him, I saw the text, don't kill yourself, get help, I don't want you to die, I can't, please, no. And then in the end, she's fed up. So she's going to be held responsible for a seriously disturbed man's death because she was tired of it and finally said, just why don't you do it then? You've been talking about it for so long. I don't think so. Again, I'm not saying it wasn't wrong morally, but morally wrong is not criminal. Okay? So that was on 2020, and I didn't watch it, but I taped it. And now this editorial about human trafficking, I'm going to read to you. And then I do want to see that waffle thing. I guess they're going to tell us what led up to it, why the cop was strangling, was choking the guy. I don't like that. I don't think police should be allowed to choke anybody, particularly somebody who is unarmed and was just simply being too rowdy inside of a restaurant or being too, in your face to the employees because he was upset about being mistreated in there, according to him. I don't think the police should be putting their hands around your neck. All right? I don't. Oh, and that McCain thing? Yeah, I think that's rotten, okay? Until we, like McCain's daughter said in so many words, until we take our last breath, we are still relevant and we're still here. And you know what I mean? How dare that staffer say, oh, what does it matter what he says? He's dying anyway. What about that woman I told you here in Massachusetts? She was dying. A few days before she died, maybe a week before or something, all she cared about was exposing the VA where she had worked, exposing it for the injustice that took place there, the incompetence, the not enough staff, that just everything, and that in retaliation, she was on the receiving end of retaliation for daring to speak up. And she was the chief medical examiner or something, so she was a high up position. And are you going to say, you asshole bitch, and that, whatever her name is, Kelly something or other, are you going to say, well, she doesn't matter, she's dying, what does it matter what she has to say, How dare that woman say that about McCain? Oh, that's so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. You're alive until you take your last breath. This is Donald said to me in the stupid tape years ago. You ain't never dead till your blood runs out from your body, your veins, You ain't dead. So you're alive until you're dead. And that's horrible. That's just horrible. And the daughter's taking the high road, but she doesn't understand why that staffer still gets to work there. And then Sarah Sanders, it was an internal thing, and why was it leaked what the woman said? Probably because whoever heard it was just disgusted and, And then some other jerk who was some high up position was saying, and what McCain, I am totally on McCain's side for what he's against. He's against torture. And Trump is hiring somebody who was pro-torture. All right? And then some jerk who's a high-up official or whatever in the army, I don't know, but and he says about McCain, torture worked on him. I guess he was held captive and tortured. And you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? These people both are just rotten, McCain's daughter doesn't understand why that staffer still gets to have her job saying something like that. It's just lousy. I agree, it's lousy. Because again, I can use that perfect example of that woman who took her last days of her life to expose, she cared enough to write a 12-page letter and detailing in detail what she had uncovered, what was going on behind the scenes in that fucking VA hospital. And as I told you, there was a guy who's been a victim of that incompetency in that place. Now he's been a victim for the past 15 years or something. He and his wife were on just the other night. I told you about that. But don't say about anybody, oh, you're irrelevant, you're dying. Fuck you. You know, fuck that bitch. She should lose her job. She shouldn't have said that. But whatever. McCain's still up for a fight. Oh, there it is. Oh, it went away. But it just said McCain's still up for a fight despite the fact he's dying. That's admirable. He objects to Trump wanting to hire that woman who's pro-torture, who apparently he wants to hire her to be the head of the CIA, and I guess she already was the head of something, and she tortured, you know, our war captives or whatever. Anyway, let me read you this editorial. WCVB.com. Have a great night. Oh, have a great night, everyone. Okay. All right. So this is Fine. This is his last name. His first name, Mike Fine. I don't know. It says an editorial which he does from time to time. Mr. Fine. Mr. Fine does these editorials from time to time. They're very interesting. He did one on the Facebook thing before Mark Zuckerberg had to go before and be drilled or whatever. Mike Fine was did his editorial saying, it's a little too little, little too late. You saying sorry now, and and that was before he had to go through ahead in front of that, which I watched that for hours. I told you, it's very fascinating. And speaking of Facebook, changed my password. That guy whose name showed up in my thing changed his password. Alright, he never acknowledged my existence. I don't blame him. But his fucking email address still shows up in my Facebook box, login thing box, to this day. Like, why? I don't know why it was there in the first place. I don't know why changing my password and him changing his password wouldn't have got rid of it. It still shows up. It autofills. It's so annoying. It never happened before, and now it's just so annoying. It's so annoying. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect my life to any significant degree, but it irritates me. Irritates me. It's like it irritates me if YouTube is acting like it's Pollyanna or something, and music videos that actually show nudity, okay? I just saw one the other day. I think the band's called, I don't know, No Escape or something. I don't know what the band's called. But anyway, has the woman in the shower. You can clearly see her breast, even though it's through the water. I mean, it's so... I wouldn't do it anyway, but we would never get away with something like that. But in the music video, it doesn't even have to be age restricted. The burlesque stripping show videos don't have to be age restricted, okay? Yet I showed my bare foot out in the snow when we had that nor'easter here, and I wound up having to have that age restricted. It was simply my bare foot out in the snow dancing around for like a minute or so. And that gets age restricted, but a stripping thing where the women actually strip down to their bra and panties, they grind around or whatever, plus at one point they take their bras off and you see them from behind with the bras off. But that doesn't have to be age restricted, yet my bare foot swinging around through the door outside when it's snowing out gets age restricted, okay? That's like unbelievable. So you get that, where the everyday people are going to get age restricted for the most ridiculous things like that. And then, of course, but I end up getting a strike over something. Again, there are videos that YouTube can hardly say that there are no sexually suggestive, provocative videos on YouTube. That's a bunch of bullshit, okay? So how do you ever know what the rules are if you age restrict a video that shows no nudity? And again, I don't need to do those stupid giantess videos at all. I don't need to do it, okay? I don't need to do a video like that, but that's not the point. The point is that, and I never came up with the idea on my own, but the point is, if it doesn't show nudity, and you age restrict it, and you know there are definitely tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of provocative, sexually enticing, titillating, provocative videos out on YouTube, all right, that are age restricted, and then there are ones that aren't even age restricted, okay? Then why are you going to think anything you do that doesn't show nudity, that is not like a, it's a stupid giantess video. It's not like I'm doing that and lowering my butt to the camera and saying LMP or something, I'm not. But the fact is, I don't have to do a video like that. It doesn't affect my life in any manner whatsoever, and I will never do it again. But it's not right that you got nudity in videos, you've got or hinted at nudity, you've got sexually suggestive stuff that don't even have to be age restricted, okay? I don't even fight against that because I already know that's a double standard, I told you that woman who shot up the YouTube place was pointing that out. She was pissed that her exercise video has to be age restricted, yet, as she pointed out, music videos that are don't get age restricted, so it's the same fucking shit. But I don't give a fuck about anything like that. But if I'm going to get a strike on something that I age restricted, that it's just ridiculous, considering all the shit out on YouTube, okay? That's what gets me. That's what's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. Okay, so he's general manager Bill Fine. Okay, so he's talking about since 9/11, somebody coined that phrase, see something, say something, okay? In post 9/11 America, it's a rallying cry, Bill Fine is saying, so to get the average citizens like you and me, in the fight against terrorism, okay? See something, say something, okay? But unfortunately, sometimes people take that too far. I just watched the Roseanne from Tuesday, but I forgot to tape it. And when you tape it, you can fast forward through the commercials, and when it's on demand, I have to watch all the fucking commercials that I don't want to see. So I turn the volume down the best I can do, and you know what I mean? But Roseanne had that about her Muslim neighbors who she was afraid of, and they were she didn't understand why they had so much fertilizer, and it turned out he had so much fertilizer because he didn't know how to use Amazon, and he kept clicking the order button for the fertilizer. But in any case, it was an interesting Roseanne. They don't shy away from things. Next week, I guess, it's going to be Roseanne's addicted to the pain pills that she's been taking for her back, and it turns out she's hiding them, and that's going to be next Tuesday. So Bill Fine is president and general manager of WCVB. Okay, so this is what Bill Fine's saying. There's a far older, far more common battle being waged here at home every day that also demands everyone's vigilance. Human trafficking. That's not something most of us think about on a daily basis, but if it's gone on up almost 50% here, like Bill Fine's saying, in the past, at least here in Massachusetts, in the past 6 years, we have a problem. It's just awful. Human trafficking is a modern-day form of slavery, says Bill Fine, and it usually involves young women who are often, addicted to drugs. They're trapped by addiction, and they're exploited, abused, and sold, often multiple times. That Backstage, was that what it called? I saw something about that, and apparently the person who runs that is finally being prosecuted or whatnot because it's a front for prostitution. I saw a horrible thing one night where it was talking about the women who have, you know, they've met horrific deaths at the hands of people who they were set up to they were you know, pimped out. They were, and she was being brutally murdered. Young teenager, still in high school. She was being brutally tortured and murdered and whatever. Oh well, the guy that gives her the ride there was waiting outside for her to finish up the sex. You know, sickening. Okay, all right. It's not someone else's problem. It's happening in our own neighborhoods. 5 investigates uncovered. I had wanted to see that, but I probably missed it and I didn't tape it on. It's 5 investigates. It's on human trafficking cases, and they're up 46% since 2012 in Massachusetts. So that's 6 years. It goes up nearly 50%. That's awful. All this shit's going on, you know, it's just awful. And then Bill Fine is saying what's more is that the FBI's Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Task Force reports the problem is widespread in our region, spanning every town and socioeconomic background. Then Bill Fine's saying one of the most common fronts on this battlefield and scenes of this crime are hotels across the Commonwealth. So it's saying, you know, if you see somebody with a, you know, a young-looking girl with an older guy, or these hotels, or if they're checking in and not for the night or something. Okay. One of the most common ways to fight this problem is that's an error in the closed caption thing, is the something that she wrote, the person doing closed caption wrote Gillette people, but I don't think is the people, something people noticing I think she means the hotel people. She wrote the Gillette people. The hotel people noticing something amiss, like young women who don't look like family members in the company of older men. You know, the hotels are where they mostly go to have the sex. Or people checking in without luggage. Bill Fine's saying it's generally it's worth noticing that those who may actually be your neighbors. The FBI has found it spans every socioeconomic group and all your neighbors. People with unusual living or working conditions, working excessively long or unusual hours. Fearful, you know, exhibiting fearful or anxious. These women, you know, exhibiting fearful or anxious behavior. The first step in helping someone is to call the police. He says, if you're unsure and want to learn more, go to humantraffickingline.org. And then Bill Fine ends with, simply put, you know, Bill Fine's saying the saying that was spawned by terrorism, see something, say something, you know, is vital in this fight too. So if you see something, say something. If it's gone up nearly 50%, you know, it's awful. I'm running out of room on my thing, my recording thing, my DVR thing, and I'm running out of room because I have tons of nightlines to watch. I have nightlines set to always record every night. I have some news things to watch. I think I set them to record because I wanted to see these little editorial things sometimes that were very interesting. I try to watch the Jimmy Kimmels. I only want to see, I set Jimmy Kimmel to tape, but I only want to see the first 15 minutes. I don't need to see the people being interviewed. I just want to see what he does in the first 15 minutes, because a lot of times, again, he's funny, and he's talking about the Stormy Daniels thing, and, you know, it's just funny to me. Delete that. So I'm at 97% full right now. I have 28 nightlines recorded. I save all these inside editions too, because there are things that I want to tell you guys about on a video. And there's a couple inside editions I haven't seen. I wanted to see that one where what's living in your basement. You'd be surprised what animals are living in your basement. I'm wondering what animals might be living into this house. And what else? Oh, and then different things people have found in their walls, or in one of the previews, the guy found a safe in his bathroom, but we get to see what's in it. I don't give a fuck about the royal wedding and the Meghan Markle thing and whatnot. That's the big hype, you know, the big ongoing story. But I find I get a kick out of human nature. Her brother, because he wasn't invited to the wedding, wrote a personal letter to Prince, her future husband, okay, her fiance, her love, they're getting married, and he writes, "You're making the biggest mistake of your life marrying someone like her." And then now he's on again, changing his mind and saying, "I'm sorry I wrote that, but I was just hurt that you were not inviting me to the wedding." Well, we, with a degree of common sense, my gut instinct tells me that if Meghan were really close to her, it says her estranged half-sister, and then this brother, if she were close to these people, she would bend over backwards to get them to be able to be at her wedding, you know? It's her wedding. If she doesn't want her siblings there, she doesn't have to have her siblings there. But I get a kick out of any guy that he's going to write this scathing, obvious, just totally derogatory towards Meghan letter to her fiance, and then a week or so later he changes his mind and just says, "I was really hurt at how you're rejecting the family. There's still a chance to change your mind and let me come to the wedding." Yeah, Meghan's probably thinking, are you insane? And then this woman sent, she's getting arraigned next week, okay, on stalking charges, but she met this guy, but I don't understand that either, because it says that it's a site that only millionaires can take part in. So does that mean she's a millionaire? She met this guy online, and after one date, he decided he wasn't interested, and she sent him 65,000 texts. 65,000 texts. She would send like 500 a day, so he finally had to get the police involved. And some of the texts said, "I'm going to kill you, I love you, you can't leave me." It was after one night, one date. Can you imagine? 65,000 texts. Unreal, huh? Unbelievable. Yeah, I have old news taped, and it's some reason for it sometimes. It's because it advertised that something was going to be on it, and even though I couldn't watch it, I wanted to tape it. No, it's different things. I didn't find my mom's notebook. I would have really looked for it carefully, though I didn't have much time, and I had other things to do, like trying to do her laundry, and then I ran out of time and wasn't able to finish doing her laundry. And also, I cooked another meal for her, and she was very, very pleased with. Healthy, healthy, healthy. It's a way to get her to eat healthy. I cook her the healthiest meals and she's able to eat the meal all week. You know, put it in containers and eat it all week. It makes me feel useful. It makes me feel good. And I know that the meal is fucking extremely, extremely healthy, but it's also very tasty. My mom told me she loved it, so. I'm taping all these drug inks. These drug inks, I know, me being me, I would be so enlightened and if I just took the time to watch these, but this is like season 5, episode 6. Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota are home to some of the purest heroin anywhere in the United States. Season 6, episode 10. As tourists fled New Orleans, so do drug dealers eager to make a profit. In a fierce competition, one dealer becomes a target when he sells fake drugs. Season 6, episode 11, Spring Break. Millions of college students descend onto the beaches of Florida for a month of drinking drugs and 24-hour raving. Cocoon, Spring Break, Season 7, Episode 4. Thousands of students head to Cocoon, Mexico for spring break, and some have only one thing on their mind: to get wasted. Alaska Heroin Rush, Season 3, Episode 2. Alaskan dealers make vast profits from crack, heroin, and illicit alcohol. Street gangs battle for control of the Anchorage drug market. Season 2, Episode 6, Pill Nation. Prescription pain pill addiction affects nearly 2 million people in the U.S. alone. Yep. Like I said, Razan's going to address that next week. I watched a few of these and they were so fascinating. These are all old, you know, but they're playing all the time and repeating it. I watched that first one on the designer drugs, legal, and they're potentially so dangerous, and the FDA can't monitor them. They're sold as, they say don't consume them, but they sell them in gas stations and convenience stores, and it's known that even though they're saying don't consume them, you can consume them, and they mimic the effects of the real drugs, and it's just horrible. Of course, this fucking shit is going to fascinate me. It sickens me too. I told you about that flesh-eating thing. I talked about it. Flesh-eating crocodile, Season 6, Episode 1. Heroin users in America began showing symptoms associated with crocodile, a home-cooked opiate, including raw lesions, decaying skin, and grotesque sores. Oh, it was horrible watching that. I shared that with you guys in a video. And the people doing it, it sometimes doesn't show for like 2 years. And I saw this one woman, she's totally addicted. She's like, I've heard the horror stories, but nothing's happening to me. And then they show another guy, I felt the same way, he says, and it took a couple years to hit, but now look at my skin, and he shows, and it's all raw and open, and oh, it's just horrible. It's horrible. Zombie Island, Season 3, Episode 8. Puerto Rico is a major gateway for South American cocaine bound for the U.S. I don't need to read these are all on my... Oh, and on to something totally innocent, after we've been talking about any stuff far from innocent. How is American Idol going to work? I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I'm just taking guesses. It went a lot quicker. Like I said, it's going a lot quicker. They're getting rid of 2 at a time rather than 1 at a time. And we have 5 left now. And they say the finale is supposed to be next week. So are they going to get rid of 3 tomorrow night? Oh, it's after midnight. Are they going to get rid of 3 tonight? It's Happy Mother's Day to you guys who are moms. I have very few female viewers. Whenever I go to my thing, it usually was like 90% men, 10% women. Right now, I looked at... oh, I don't know if I looked at this week or I looked at Lifetime. I think it said 87 and 13. I don't know. In any case, there's very few women that watch my videos. Let's put it that way. But to you women who do watch my videos, if you happen to be a mom, Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, I'm wondering about American Idol. Are they going to switch things up? Are they going to have something where they'll only get rid of 2 tonight and there's 3 left for the finale, but there can't be 3 in the finale? So like I was taking a guess, I mean, there's some kind of guess I could take. They're either getting rid of 3 tonight, which maybe they are, which means they get rid of 5 in 2 weeks. They're going way fast, they're going way faster than they have in all those years I watched it. They're getting rid of people more in a quicker manner rather than 1 at a time. I could put this out just by itself, but then I can also play it and create a new video with me, and it's considered a new video. It's not a duplicate video, and I could have it play in the background while I, wearing shorts and showing my feet or whatnot. Won't be doing that tonight, but I do want to see this world news tonight. I'm feeding fast here. It rained yesterday, so, as I knew it would. I knew my hair getting all cut and styled and whatnot, it's not going to last long with the rain. I wonder if Netflix, I'm going to type it in. I want to see if my Netflix has the Jurassic Parks on. Like I said, when you got Netflix through the mail, you can get anything through the mail. You can get anything through the mail. You have Netflix through the mail. You get all obscure stuff. You can get, sitcoms. Maybe now that I got the DVD playback, I should do Netflix through the mail instead of on the TV. Maybe I will. Again, you can get so much more through the mail. That's why Joe had Netflix. I don't know if he canceled. I think he canceled it but he had Netflix and he was loving getting the stuff through the mail because he could get old stuff that he likes. I think he called it noir or something. He was telling me about. He said he likes that old stuff. He was telling me about it one night. You can't get the effect of something if somebody is just telling you about it. You have to watch it for yourself if you're interested. It's like, he's telling me about it, and he's like, how is it even relating to me? How am I even enjoying it? But I love talking to Joe, so it doesn't really matter. He can say anything. I touched upon this morning when I was talking about nightmares and dreams, and how a very small percentage of the population, like 15% or something, I think, I don't know, can have vivid dreams in non-REM sleep, during non-REM sleep. But do reptiles dream, or just mammals? Just wondering. I haven't checked Netflix in a while, see if there's anything new out there. I told you, remember when I said I feel pretty. I won't tell you what we got for lunch, but it was we had a nice lunch. It was cheap, but it was very tasty. I haven't checked Netflix in a while. I should periodically check it, because it could be new movies out that are interesting, you know. I told you in the other video, can't wait to I can wait, 'cause life's going by so fast anyway. Jurassic Park movie next month. The movie coming out, Sandra Bullock plays a bank robber. Sandra Bullock's usually a good girl in these movies. It's good to switch it up though. Omar jumped in the box. Oh, The Vow. That's a beautiful love story. Anyway, Omar, I was at the computer, and suddenly I heard like noise, and I don't know if he went on the bed and jumped into the box from the bed, or I told you once in a while he fucks up. His equilibrium is thrown off or something, and he does something weird, like when I had my broken foot, I think, or something, but or maybe I didn't have a broken foot, but since he was blind, you see him jumping high up, thinking he's jumping on the bed. It's not super high up because he knows it's on the floor, and instead he's jumping. Something was wrong, and he just jumped on the floor, and then he's probably wondering, why am I not on the bed, you know? But I witnessed it, and it was hysterical because he jumped as if he was jumping up on the bed, and then he finds himself on the floor. Well, earlier last night, a few hours ago, he jumped into my box. Now, fortunately, there's nothing in the box to hurt him. I don't even know if he would have tried to get out of the box if I hadn't got him out. He's just sitting there wondering why he's in the box, what's happened. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I don't know if he jumped into the box from the floor thinking the bed. I think he did. I don't know what he was trying to do. Sometimes I think he might be going senile. I don't know. Mama loves the pug. On Netflix, I started watching this thing on that Adderall, those ones that they're prescribed, like, I forget what it's called, but the college students take it to stay awake and whatever. And I started watching that. It was very interesting. They get prescriptions for it, but then they go to college and they find out that it's like a high commodity. Like, people want it and they'll pay for it, and but they're on it legally. But I didn't get to watch it long enough to see the downsides of it. Oh. Yeah, that was really good. Who was that starring? Oh yes, Channing Tatum. People like Channing Tatum and Janet Tatum were in shock that they're going to get divorced because they're one of those Hollywood couples you just think are going to last, and then they're like, oh, what happened? Why are they divorcing? And they say it's amicable and whatnot. It's just, of course, people want to know why. So it featured most recent. And the woman 15 years ago who was convicted of whatever, murder, convicted of murder, but I don't think it was planned murder, so it was second degree, but she got the maximum sentence of 20 years in jail. She served 15 and she's getting out. She ran over with a car over and over and over again the body, and in a violent rage she had a private investigator track her cheating husband, and they, scorned woman, wife, kids, and forever, and he's cheating on her, and she killed him. She just got out like yesterday or something after serving 15 years. So she served her time, and that's it, Crimes of passion is what they call them. I want to know if, when it says it's an exclusive site that only millionaires belong to, but does that mean that woman who sent that guy the 65,000 texts, she's a millionaire? Because millionaires go on this site, and this psycho woman or whatever, like if anyone could go on the site, it doesn't make sense because it said it's very exclusive. You have to be in that a millionaire to sign up. Because again, these millionaires have to worry about if it's not a fellow millionaire, whatever, that they're after, that a woman's after them for money. I don't know. I was just fascinated because 65,000, texts that she sent to the guy. Thought that was interesting. The human trafficking thing is interesting and sad because it says, a lot of the women are addicted to drugs, so, somebody cynical can say, well, they're choosing, they want their drug fix. You can call it human trafficking, but they're choosing to have that happen, I find very interesting, to say the least. I might upload this just like this, and then I might play it while I create a video where I'm doing whatever. I could be exercising, I could be shaving my legs, I could be just sitting there, and then if it's somebody who's already listened to this who's watching that video, they can just turn the volume down, I just want to see if anything new and exciting is on Netflix. Alrighty. Good night.